And welcome to another edition of the HTFL, the Hometown Football League. Big Polly coming to you. Today we have Miami playing Pittsburgh. Now let me just click off so I don't have to do this on the fly. That I am the human team on all of these games because I forgot to do this the first game we did this week. So just bear with me, folks, as you take a look at the setup we have for this week. Kind of looks like the old NFL Today scoreboard of the 70s when Brent Musburger would do the games and they'd have a Solari board set up and you would see the scores, and sometimes they would click and when somebody scored a touchdown and all that back before computers were the rage. Fun times. Today it's Miami and Pittsburgh. Let me turn Mr. Ray Curtis off before we get any further. There we go. A rainy day in Pittsburgh, 58 degrees, a light to moderate wind at Heinz Field. Pittsburgh's the home team, so I will be controlling them. They are a 3-point favorite. They won the toss and will receive. We have, talk about some old pros here. Don Shula for Miami. Chuck Noll roaming the sidelines for Pittsburgh. Dan Marino, a Pittsburgh boy. He will be the quarterback for Miami. Ben Roethlisberger for Pittsburgh. Miami got one of their tougher tests in that 1972 undefeated season. On December 31st, 1972, they beat Pittsburgh 21-17. And according to some accounts I've read, they were probably very lucky to do it. We got Woodson backbeat for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh in the black squares with the gold numbering and lettering. Miami in the white as the road team. And we'll get this game underway. 49th game of the season. Pittsburgh will return it. Got 207 to go after this, and that is Woodson bringing it out 22 yards to the 21. Setting up the offense for Pittsburgh and the defense for Miami for you. First, the Pittsburgh offense. Bettis and Johnson at running back. Brown and Ward at wideout. Miller at tight end. Roethlisberger quarterbacking. Kolb, Fenica, Webster, the venerable Mike Webster at center. DeCastro and Jackson are your offensive linemen. For Miami, Taylor and Wake, your defensive ends. Baumhauer and Manny Fernandez at defensive tackle. Cox, Thomas, Bocamper, your linebackers. Madison and Surtain, your corners. Dick Anderson and Jake Scott will be your safeties. On this 1st and 10, let's put a quarter in the fair box and give it to the bus on a dive play. He gained 6. And Patrick Surtain had to come up from corner and make the tackle. And it's now 2nd and 4. We'll go to Antonio Brown on a short out. That's incompleted. Look for a lot of plays up the middle, I would think, from Pittsburgh, as the defensive tackle seems to be the weak point for this great Miami squad. It's 3rd and 4, so we'll go 3 wide, and we'll bring John Stallworth in the game for a short hitch pass, which is actually we're going to turn into a medium hitch pass, since Miami seems to be playing short. And that's completed. A gain of 14, Surtain, his 2nd tackle of the day, and we're only a minute into the game. So a 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh. We'll go back to Bettis. Off tackle right. Trying to mix it up on the inside. Not really want to show the cards that the Steelers are going to come at those those defensive tackles. Bob Brunhauer, and Manny Fernandez, as you see there, out of Utah. It's now 2nd and 6. We'll go Miller on a short hitch pass. That's caught, and that is a 1st down. Dick Anderson came up and made the tackle for 7 yards. Double tight ends. We'll bring Eric Green in, and we'll go Bettis again, and this time a dive play. Looked like Miami had 8 in the box. No, it was 2 blitzers. No, they did have 8 in the box from the looks of it, and Bettis gains 2. We'll go John Henry Johnson, trap right. And he gains a little bit more, 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4. Anderson on the tackle for Miami. We will go to Bettis on a screen pass on 3rd and 4. That's incomplete. With a light mist falling, Pittsburgh will punt. Jimmy Orr will be back deep for the Steelers. He'll try to coffin corner this one in. And rolls dead at the 4. So a nice punt for Jimmy Orr. Let's set up the Miami offense and the Pittsburgh defense for you. It's going to be Zonka. He of the 7 touchdowns he has had in the first 3 games. He's at running back with Tony Nathan, Landry and Clayton at wideout, Clay at tight end, Marino at quarterback, your linemen, Webb, Little, Langer, Sims, Long. The defense for Pittsburgh, Greenwood and Hayward, your defensive ends, Green and Hampton, your defensive tackles, Ham, Lambert, Joey Porter at linebackers, Woodson and Blunt will be your corners, Polamalu and Donnie Shell will be your safeties. 1st and 10 from the 4. We have 10:25 left in the opening quarter. A fumble and Marino gets it back, but he loses loses 3 yards in the process, and Miami in a deep spot now at the 1. They bring Nat Moore in as a 3rd wide receiver. He out of Florida, playing on those 70s Miami's teams. If the Steelers can push him back 1 yard more, it'll be 2 points for them. Let's see. They give to Zonk. Zonk straight ahead. He's a bull. 5 yards. Hayward on the stop at the 6. 3rd and 8 from the 6. To Zonka, and Zonka picks up 3, but it will be short of the 1st down, which will bring up 4th and 5. Miami punting into the wind here, so maybe the Steelers could get a nice little exchange of field position here. Let's set up for the return. They try to punt away from Woodson, but he makes the fair catch at the Miami 48 with 8:14 left, opening quarter. We have no score. We'll go Bettis, trap to the right. And Jerome Bettis out of Notre Dame with a 9-yard gain. How about an end around? How about the Hines Ward? He's athletic.
False start.
Played quarterback
Offense,
at Georgia.
Number 86.
And they get Hines Ward
penalty
for a false start. Must have anticipated the ball getting to him, but he won't get it now, as we'll go right back to the bus. Pitch to the right on 2nd and 6. A fumble. It was recovered by Brown, Antonio Brown, at the 44, so no gain on the play. And it's now 3rd and 6. We will go to Antonio Brown, the aforementioned Antonio Brown, on a short hitch play. He's got it, and that's a first. Madison makes the stop at the 36 after a gain of 8. 1st and 10. Can Pittsburgh do it again? We'll go Johnson on the dive. He picks up 2. And it's 2nd and 8 from the 34. We have Antonio Brown getting the ball on a medium slant, or that's the play I've called. Incomplete. A bad throw by Roethlisberger. And now on 3rd and 8, screen pass. Close to the first. It'll be short. Brian Cox on the stop. And that was caught by Bettis. He got 8 yards. 71% chance of a successful challenge, which if good would be a 1st and 10 at about the 26. I'm going to go for it.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. A timeout will be charged.
In HTFL play, you can dispute any spot, but all scores and turnovers are looked at in the booth. 4th and inches. Ball to 26. We'll take the points here with Gary Anderson. if we can get him, and we can't get him. Pushed it off to the
Holding
left.
offense. 10-yard penalty.
Wouldn't have counted anyway, as Jackson was called for holding, and Miami. Actually, Miami took the penalty to make it 4th and 10. Gary Anderson has a 50-50 chance of hitting a field goal from 53 yards out. You would think Miami would have declined the penalty, but they chose not to. So here's a 53-yard try, and that's good. You think Miami would have declined it and taken possession of the ball. They chose not to, and Gary Anderson makes them pay from 53, and it's 3-0 Steelers. With 4:58 left in the opening quarter, we have Ted Ginn Jr. back for Miami, and that'll be a touchback. Dan Marino, who's 1 for 1 very early in this game, 3 yards. They had a 3 and out on their first series. They get the ball back at their own 20. The throw and the catch, this one to Tony Nathan for 16 yards. Polamalu makes the stop for the Steelers. His dark flowing hair cascading out of his helmet, as was often the case in his playing days. 1st and 10 at the 36. To Zonka, and Zonka pulls ahead for 8 yards. Mel Blount came up, lowered the boom on him for a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2 at the 44. I would look for play action here out of Miami, and that's not completed.
Offense. Number 77.
Long gets called for
holding
on the offense, and it's now 2nd and 12. At the 34, they give it to Zonk, and Zonk picks up nothing. Jack Lambert came up and made the stop. 3rd and 12. Ball to 34. The throw incomplete. Polamalu jumped the route and knocked it down. And Miami will have to punt again. A couple of very unimpressive drives for them to start the game. I believe that's Larry Seipel back to punt. It is. And that's a punt of 42 yards into the wind, and Woodson fair catches it at the 24. We have 2:24 left. Opening quarter, it's 3-0 Pittsburgh, with a light rain falling at Heinz Field. To John Henry Johnson on a dive. 1st and 10, ball at 24. No gain. Cox whips him down. Brian Cox is one of those players Miami had that kind of reminded me of Bill Laimbeer. I think I've said this before on a previous HTFL broadcast. That he was the kind of guy you would love to have on your team, and the guy you would hate to play if he wasn't on your team. Kind of like Bill Laimbeer, Detroit Pistons, or Dennis Rodman. Antonio Brown on a medium hitch on 2nd and 10. That's incomplete. Roethlisberger a little shaky, 4 out of 8 for 37 yards. And it's now 3rd and 10, so they'll have to go to him again. He will go to shotgun formation, and we'll look for Zach Miller, because I would think they would look for one of the 3 wide receivers here, on the medium slant. Can they convert? They cannot. And Pittsburgh will be forced to punt from their own 24. Here's Jimmy Orr.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
A false start.
4th down.
Backs Pittsburgh up 5 more before we go to Jimmy Orr. Here's the punt. We hope. Looks like a good one. And Ginn Jr. returns it 3 yards to the 37 after a punt of 47. We have a $1:20 left opening quarter. It's 3-0 Steelers. Marino back in there. 1st and 10 at the 37. It's a throw, and it's an incompletion, looking for Clay. And now you got 2nd and 10. Straight ahead pass to Nathan, incomplete. Marino 2 out of 5 to start the game, but he's throwing into the wind, which means they will have the wind advantage for the 2nd and the 3rd quarters. 3rd and 10 from the 37. Miami in a 3 wide receiver set with Zonka in the backfield. Incomplete. Shell tipped it. Looking for Clayton, Mark Clayton. And now 4th and 10 at the 37. And Pittsburgh will get the ball back, barring a turnover on the punt. Punt of 40 yards by Larry Seipel. Woodson returns at 9 to the Pittsburgh 32. We have 54 seconds left in the opening quarter, and it's still 3-0 Steelers. Defensive struggle looking like it's setting up here. But we're going to try to break it up. Long fly to Hines Ward. Instead, a dump off to Miller, which will come back on penalty, as Jackson called for holding. And it's now 1st and 20 with 47 seconds left in the quarter. Trap right, Jerome Bettis. See if the bus could do something with the expanded running lanes, and he can get 4 yards, and that will be all. And that will be all for the first quarter. Your score, Pittsburgh 3, Miami nothing. Back for the start of the second quarter here. 3-0 Pittsburgh. 2nd and 16, so I think Roethlisberger, Big Ben's going to throw it here. We're going to go medium fly to Hines Ward. And Ward gets a little separation from the corner, which may or may not have been Vontae Davis. He makes the tackle after a gain of 28. Nice pickup by Hines Ward out of Georgia. We'll go Johnson, and we will go sweep to the right. A loss of 2. Cameron Wake got in there and lowered the boom on him. So now, 2nd and 12, they'll go back to the 3 wideout formation and go to John Stallworth on a medium hitch. Incomplete. Surtain provided good defensive coverage. Pittsburgh looking for a mismatch, if they can find one. And they'll go back to Hines Ward here on 3rd and 12. This will be a plus route. Medium out. Caught. First down. In Ward picks up 14. Ward on the day, 2 catches for 42 yards. Both of them you just saw on this possession. Back to the bus, sweep to the right. Holding, probably in the backfield here. Yes, it is.
Number 66, 10-yard penalty.
De Castro gets booked for holding, and it's now 1st and 20. Pittsburgh, if you think they've gotten a lot of penalties so far in this game, you would be correct. 5 for 40. Here's Bettis, trapped to the right. And Jerome Bettis, with Miami playing a bit softer, he takes advantage of the running lanes and picks up 12. They'll look for Antonio Brown on a medium out on 2nd and 8. Instead, it's a dump off to Johnson, John Henry Johnson, and he gets the first down. Ball to 24. We have 11:44 left. Not the opening quarter, but in the opening half. Bettis trapped to the right. Incomplete, not incomplete, but a
Personal foul,
tackle at
defense.
the line. But
number 29, automatic, first down.
Madison gets a little loose with his discipline, and that's a half the distance personal foul since they're inside the 30. Bettis will come out in favor of Franco Harris. Yes, he will. If I can call him. There we go. We'll give Bettis a little bit of a spell here. Off tackle right for Mr. Harris. And Franco with 3 yards. Go John Henry Johnson on a dive. Try to keep it moving. No gain. And it's now 3rd and 7 from the 9. We'll go Miller. Short hitch. Incomplete. And John Henry Johnson injured on that last play, but he should be back for the next Pittsburgh series. We have Gary Anderson to attempt a field goal. This will be a lot shorter, 26 yards. He hit one from over 50 last time. It's good, and it's 6-0 Steelers. We have 9:37 left in the opening quarter. Ginn Jr. back for Miami. And no declaring of Ginn by scoring a touchdown on that return, as that's a touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20. Marino back in there. He's been held in check. 29 yards only for Miami so far. Pittsburgh has racked up 131. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Clay. Lambert provided very good defensive coverage. Clay goes to the officials, wanting the yellow hankies dropped and getting no satisfaction. 2nd and 10, ball to 20. That's incomplete. Looks like that was batted away by Hampton. And now Marino, with the wind, looking at 3rd and 10. Throws. It's caught by Clay, but he's way short of the first down by 5 yards. It was, didn't see who made the tackle. Ham made the tackle, Jack Ham. And now he got a 4th and 5 from the 25. Seipel back to punt. Unless something odd happens. That's a nice punt. Woodson returns it 4 yards after the punt of 50. 8:43 left. We'll take Harris back out of the game and put Jerome Bettis back in. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh with the 6-0 lead. And we're going to go off tackle right, Jerome Bettis out of Notre Dame. And Bettis straight ahead. An 8-yard gain. Manny Fernandez came up and made the tackle. How about a long hitch to John Stallworth on 2nd and 2? That's not there. And Webster was injured on the play, but he stays in. It's now 3rd and 2. We're going to go play action here out of a double tight end formation, and we'll go to Brown out of that formation. And he's got it, 15 yards. Madison on the stop. Move it to the 48 for a 1st and 10. Miami 48, that is. And you got a trap left here to Jerome Bettis. Well, these runs have been to the right side, so that throws Miami off, and that's a gain of 8. Bettis, dive play. Short, no gain. It was Taylor, Jason Taylor coming up to make the stop. And right now you got 3rd and 2. Let's go. Short pass out of play action to Antonio Brown. See if we can get him again. We can't. No catch. 57 yards would be a little too long to try a field goal, so Jimmy Orr comes in for the coffin corner punt. And he doesn't get the coffin corner, but the ball does roll dead at the 3 for a 37-yard punt. So Miami, with 5:28 left to halftime, they trail 6-0. And Marino, again, starting well deep into his own territory. Let's see what he does here at his own 3. On 1st and 10, he throws. It's caught. 1st down to Clay, 18 yards. No, that's not Cassius Clay, the boxer. It is Charles Clay, the H-back, out of Tulsa. 1st and 10, ball to 21. They throw underneath to Nathan. Polamalu jumps up and swats that down, and it's now 2nd and 10. They give to Nathan on a draw, and Tony Nathan with a lot of room, about 22 yards worth of it. It was the late blitz, and Nathan on the dive was the perfect call for that. 1st and 10 now, Dolphins at their own 43, 4:26 left. Long throw. Off the back foot of Clayton's, and he drops it. 2nd and 10 at the 43 now.
Holding.
We have a marker down.
Number 62, 10-yard penalty.
Which Pittsburgh takes to force a 2nd and 20 from the 33. Incomplete. Hayward tipped it up. And now you got 3rd and 20. Advantage Pittsburgh here. Marino scrambles, and he wasn't known for that in his career. Donnie Shell came up and blasted him. Nice little free shot there for Shell. Try to knock Marino in the next week, but he's fine. Punting time for Miami. They trail 6-0. And here we go. This to Woodson, and Woodson gains a little bit, 5 yards. Starks on the tackle for Miami. Seipel's punt there was for 43 yards. Pittsburgh with a 6-0 lead. I think they're just going to play conservative here. Trap to the left with Jerome Bettis. Want to see what happens on these next few plays. Madison was hurt, injured his groin. He's out for the game. So Davis is going to come in and play one of the corners, Bronte Davis. And he will be up against Hines Ward. So that could be a mismatch there, advantage for Pittsburgh. In fact, let's try it out. Medium fly on 2nd and 5. But we have a marker.
False start. Offense, number 52, 5-yard penalty.
On 2nd and 10, we got Brown, short slant. Not there. Incomplete. It's now 3rd and 10. And again, we got Hines Ward against Vontae Davis. That could be exploited, I think. Medium fly. Incomplete. Jake Scott came in and assisted on the defensive coverage. So a 3 and out for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger 8 for 19, 102 yards. Marino 4 for 13 for 42. Neither man having a good game throwing the ball. Here's Jimmy Orr back deep. The punt into the wind. Wasn't a great punt. 38 yards. Ginn picked it up at the 34, ran it back 6 to the 40. We have 2:25 left. Opening half, a 6-0 game. Here's the 1st and 10 play. Marino throws to Clay, but incomplete. Marino now 4 out of 14. Not a good start for him. Both men struggling in this rainy weather. And
Holding.
Zonka picks up
Offense,
7, but that'll
number
come back.
69, 10-yard penalty.
Back Miami up 10. 2nd and 20 from the 30. Incomplete. Looking for Clay. And now it's 3rd and 20. Ball at the 30. Hayward forces a fumble. Larry Little pounces on it. But Miami loses 8, so now it's a cab ride to Youngstown, Ohio for Miami. 2-minute warning. It's 6-0 Pittsburgh. And here is the punt. Woodson back deep. And a return of 3 for Woodson after a 47-yard punt by Seipel, and Offerdahl makes the tackle. We have 1:49 left now. With the 6-0 lead, we're just going to play it safe. Trap right, Jerome Bettis. See what that brings us, and we'll adjust our game plan accordingly. Gain of 6. Miami not using their timeouts. We'll go to Johnson on a dive. I'd just rather get out of the half with a 6-0 lead, the way this has been going. It's now 3rd and 3. We'll go Bettis, and we'll go trap right. Just run out the clock here, guys. Gain of 2. Will Miami call timeout? They will not. That's your half. Going into the second half, at halftime, it's 6-0 Pittsburgh. And welcome to the start of the third quarter and the second half. Quick look at the stats. We have 176 total yards for Pittsburgh, 67 for Miami. So that Pittsburgh defense really earning their pay today, keeping Miami in check. Marino, 4 for 15 for 42 yards. Roethlisberger not doing too much better, 8 for 19 for a $102. 5 carries, 36 yards for Miami. Miami should focus on the running game more because they're getting 7.2 a carry. Pittsburgh's been slogging it a little bit. 20 carries, 74 yards as a team, 3.7 yard average. Bettis has 13 of those carries for 66 yards. John Henry Johnson not doing all that well, 6 carries for 5. Nobody standing out statistically for Miami, though Tony Nathan did have that one run for 22 yards in the first half. Ted Ginn Jr. back from Miami. They will get the ball to start the third quarter. Taken, just outside the 5, and he returns it. He took it at the 3, brought it to the 32 for a gain of 29. It was Jack Lambert on the tackle for Pittsburgh. And here's Danny Marino. He's got to hope for a better second half. That first half was a disaster for him. 1st and 10. The throw to Tony Nathan, and that might be a good start. 6 yards. Polamalu made the stop for Pittsburgh, and here is the 2nd and 4 play from the 38. A gain of a yard by Tony Nathan, and Jack Lambert tackles him. Zonka's been a non-factor so far. 3 carries, 13 yards. You think with those 7 touchdowns he racked up in those first 2 games that he would see some more touches, but he hasn't yet. 3rd and 3. Reno. That's a first down. That is to Clay. Ham on the stop for Pittsburgh, and Miami might have something going here. 1st and 10 at the 48. Give us to Zonk, and Zonk picks up 4 yards. He's out of Syracuse. Played on those great early 70s teams with Jim Kick and Mercury Morris. 2nd and 6. Pittsburgh now on their side of the 50. Ball at the Pittsburgh 48. To Nathan. Nathan loses a yard. Joey Porter came up and made the tackle there. 3rd and 7. Ball at the 49. To Zonka, and Zonka only with 3. They needed 7 on 3rd down. And now Pittsburgh will get it back on the punt unless Miami wants to try something here, trickeration-wise. Here's Seipel. It's going to land inside the 10. We'll let it roll. Maybe it'll go for a touchback. Rolls at the 6. So it's now 1st and 10 Steelers at their own 6-yard line. We have 10:30 left, opening quarter. Bettis has been the go-to guy so far for the Steelers with those 13 carries and 66 yards. So let's go to him again. Pitch to the right. And Bettis with 3 yards before Cameron Wake could get to him. Where is Mr. Kim Bocamper? He's there. Okay, 2nd and 7. He's not defending against anybody right now. We'll go Bettis off tackle right. And the bus with a 9-yard gain. Zach Thomas injured his ribs on that last play. He's playing inside linebacker. He's number 54. Remains in the game. 1st and 10. Move the ball now out to the 18. John Henry Johnson. Let's try to get him going here. Off tackle right. A gain of 2. Cox on the tackle. More Miami. And Miami, of course, loves Cox. 2nd and 8. 20. I'm sorry, folks. I just couldn't let that one go. We'll go screen Jerome Bettis. A gain of 7. Cox again on the tackle for Miami. It's an old Neil Rogers joke, folks. Neil Rogers was a long-time talk show host out of Miami on some of the stations that would carry the Dolphins, and he at one point was available here in the Tampa Bay area, and when Brian Cox played with the Dolphins, the jokes just wrote themselves. 3rd and 1, dive play to Bettis, and the wheels of the bus go round and round. He's got a 1st down. That's now 16 carries, 79 yards for Bettis. Let's see if we can get John Henry Johnson. We'll go double tight end. And we'll go sweep to the right. A gain of 1. Look up Neil Rogers in Wikipedia if you don't know who he is. Fernandez on the stop. And it's now 2nd and 9. Medium fly to Antonio Brown out of the double tight end formation. We'll try to trick him up here. Incomplete. Webster hurt on that last play. Will return in a few plays, which brings Dawson in at corner. Dermonte Dawson out of Kentucky. A 3rd and 9. We'll go to Hines Ward on the medium hitch, but a marker down before the play.
False start. Offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, Third down.
De Castro called for the false start, which will now make it 3rd and 14. How about John Stallworth on a medium fly? We'll go plus route here. Look for 82, and that's not there. Roethlisberger instead went to Hines Ward. And it's now 4th and 14 with 5:51 left in the third. It's still 6-0 Miami. Here's the punt by Orr. Hope he strikes gold. That's a short punt. Only 26 yards. Kind of shanked that one. Jin Jr. came up, made the fair catch. A dangerous move on his part. And now Miami with the wind and heavy rain now. The rain has picked up quite nicely here at Heinz Field. They have a chance to get some points here right at the 50. 1st and 10. Marino, he throws, and that's a slant.
Holding. Offense.
That'll come
Number
back.
62, 10-yard penalty.
Langer got called for holding. You'd think holding would be a lot tougher penalty to achieve in rainy conditions, but nonetheless, 1st and 20 at the 40 now. Incomplete pass. Webb was injured on the play on a knee injury. And it's 2nd and 20. Ball to 40. Short pass to Nathan, picks up 4 yards, but now you got 3rd and 16 at the 44, and that's incomplete, looking for Clay. Marino, his terrible day continues to be terrible. 7 for 20, 61. Roethlisberger not much better, 9 out of 22. So the running games might decide this one. Here's the punt by Seipel. Inside the 10. Again, we're going to let it roll and hope it finds the end zone. And actually rolls dead at the 9. Got 4:24 left now. And it's 1st and 10. Trap left to Johnson. And if Brian Cox made the tackle, that would have been a joke among itself. Scott on the tackle, though. Jake Scott, and that's a 2-yard gain. John Henry Johnson sweep left. 2nd and 8. And that's a gain of 2. Zach Thomas makes the stop. 3rd and 6. We got 3:36 left to go. How about Zach Miller on a medium hitch? Try to get the passing game going here. Complete, but Anderson knocked the ball loose. Jackson came up, and Pittsburgh kept it. And after all that, it's a 1st down. We have 2:53 left now, third quarter. Trap right, Bettis. Gain of 6, and Bettis now with 85 yards. Pittsburgh's now run the ball 28 times, thrown at 23. They have 51 plays right now to Miami's 29, so the time of possession must be pretty huge. Yeah, 27:41 they've had it, and Miami has had it for about 15 minutes. Stallworth, medium slant. 2nd and 4. Instead, they go to Hines Ward, and he finally breaks free. Gain of 66. Get your kicks on Route 66, and Hines Ward with a 100-yard receiving day so far. After that catch, 1st and goal at the 3. Triple tight ends now for Pittsburgh. They bring in just Val Chansante to go with Miller and Green, and we're just going to go to Bettis straight ahead and do nothing fancy here. No gain. That'll be the end of the third quarter. It's still Pittsburgh 6, Miami nothing. Okay, starting your fourth quarter now. Recording this also on July 6, 2020. I did 2 games today. We'll go to Bettis. Trap to the right. And Bettis, nothing there. A fumble. And Pittsburgh kept it. Kolb covered it up. 3rd and goal at the 4. The thing for Pittsburgh is they really don't need the touchdown here. A field goal would be just as good. They have Bettis, Levon Bell, and Johnson in a full house formation. We will look for Levon Bell here on a trap right. He gets it to the 1, and with 14:13 left, Pittsburgh will use all the time on the play clock, call a timeout, and we will bring Anderson in to make it 9-0. And he does. Good from 18. Terry Bradshaw on the hold. So Miami now needs 2 scores as they trail 9-0 on this rainy afternoon here in Pittsburgh. Here's Jin Jr. back. Of course, he could change things with one kickoff return, but not to be on that one, a touchback. Chris Chambers has entered the game. He will play as a 4th wideout. And on 1st and 10 from the 20, let's see what Dan Marino can do. Can he shake off the cobwebs of a rather dismal afternoon so far? They give it to Zonka for 5,
Holding,
but
offense,
that'll come back.
number 66.
Larry Little
10-yard
called for
penalty.
offensive holding. 1st and 20, ball to 10. A throw and a catch to Landry, a gain of 9. And Butler brought him down. 2nd and 11, ball to 19. That's a first down to Chambers. He gains 12. Paul Amalu on the stop for the Steelers. It's now 1st and 10 at the 31. Apologize for the burping if you're hearing that.
Illegal
Incomplete.
shift. Offense, number 80, 5-yard penalty.
Landry called for an illegal shift, and it's 1st and 15. Ball to 25. Incomplete. That number 80 in the defensive backfield for Pittsburgh is Jack Butler. Let's profile him real fast. Out of St. Bonaventure, played on the 50s Steelers team back when they had the leather helmets, which wasn't that long ago. Ball to 25. You think by the 50s they would have gotten them a nice little plastic helmet. Anyway, 2nd and 15. Here's the throw. Right
Pass
through the hands of
interference,
Clayton.
defense.
But they'll
number
get him for pass
26,
interference. Rod
automatic,
Woodson.
First down.
And that moves it to the 44, a 1st and 10. Miami trying to get on the scoreboard. They trail by 9. And Sanka, 4 yards. Butler on the tackle. 2nd and 6 from the 48. It's Marino. It's Clayton. And it's an 11-yard gain. Rod Woodson forced him out of bounds. 10:40 left. 1st and 10 at the Steeler 41. No gain.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty.
Another penalty for Miami. They have 8 and Pittsburgh has 8. We've had 16 penalties in this game, which explains why it's taking so long. 1st and 20, ball at the 49. Incomplete. Mark Clayton with another drop, and he just had one a few plays ago. 2nd and 20, ball at the 49. The throw, incomplete.
Holding, offense, number 69, 10-yard penalty.
Now it's 2nd and 30. This will be a cab ride to Erie, Pennsylvania for the Dolphins. 2nd and 30. Long throw, incomplete. You got to know if you're Pittsburgh on defense what they're going to do here. 3rd and 30. They go underneath the first down marker to Moore, but he only gets half the 30 yards needed. A punt of not a punt, but a gain of 15. Miami will punt unless they try a fake punt of some sort here. 4th and 15 at the 46 of Pittsburgh. They go for the coffin corner, and it's a punt of 32 by Seipel. Pittsburgh in good shape. They lead 9-0. Outside run, John Henry Johnson. Pittsburgh will probably just play it very, very safe here, I would think, with the 9-point lead. Try to not give up a turnover. Try and not force the action here with passes. Roethlisberger not having a good game, 11 for 24, 187 yards, and Marino doing far worse with 11 for 27, 108. Here's Bettis. A running play to the right. We just called a random play to the right, and that's a first down. Clock is the friend of the Pittsburgh Steelers here with 7:55 to go. Dive play to Bettis. We might bring Franco Harris in again. No gain. That's 3 points off of his stamina. He's at 94. We're going to go outside run to Johnson on 2nd and 10. Just keep the ball on the ground. Webster hurt again. Will they take him out this time? No, he's going to stay in. Number 52, Mike Webster. 3rd and 7. I wouldn't even be surprised if Pittsburgh runs it here. That's what I'm doing. And we're going to go, let's see here, trap right with Jerome Bettis. Try to catch him off guard with a run. He gains 5. And again, Pittsburgh's going to just wait for the play clock to get to 1 second and call timeout, which they do with 5:03 to go. 9-0 Pittsburgh. Here's Jimmy Orr. They have the win advantage now. And a nice punt for Jimmy Orr, 49 yards. Jin had no choice but to call for the fair catch. We have 4:57 left in the game unless we go to overtime somehow, which is possible. 1st and 10 at the 19 for the Dolphins. And after an embarrassing loss to St. Louis last week, they are getting shell-shocked here by a very good Pittsburgh defense. 14-yard gain, Marino to Moore, Blunt on the stop. 1st and 10 at the 33. Pittsburgh was embarrassed at home on Monday night by Baltimore last week, and they have bounced back nicely with this 9-0 win. They could go to 2-2 on the season, and Miami could also fall to 2-2. 2nd and 10, ball to 33. Pitch to Zonka. Zonka loses 4. He steps out of bounds. Don't think he meant to. 3rd and 14 at the 29. Marino, incomplete, looking for Matt Moore and not finding him. Blunt jarred the ball loose. And now Miami, they're going to punt again with 4:03 on the clock. They're not going to get too many more chances with the ball. Here's Seipel. Let's watch him. It's a coffin going for the sidelines. Out at the 34 after a 37-yard punt. See what Pittsburgh here's. Oh, they're going to go full house. They're going to go full house here. And bring in John Henry Johnson on the dive. And Johnson steams ahead. A nice gain of 39. That'll boost his average. That gives him 59 yards on the day. Bettis is 6 yards short of 100, and that gives Pittsburgh some breathing room. At the Miami 27, they lead 9-0 already. See if Bettis can get his 100 yards here on this 1st and 10. Not on this play as Wake brings him down after a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8. They'll go to Bell on a dive here on that 2nd and 8. Just back to the line. It gains a yard. Cameron Wake again on the tackle. We'll go to the 2-minute warning. And on 3rd and 7, with the Steelers up 9-0, we'll give one more chance for Bettis to try to get his 100 yards. He needs 4. He gets more than that. How about all the way down to the 2 for a 118-yard running day? And now, Miami calling their timeouts, and Pittsburgh in excellent shape with the 9-0 lead with a $1:52 on the clock. And, oh, what is this? What is this from Pittsburgh here? A triple option to Bettis, and Bettis finds the end zone. They go to the triple option, and now it's a full house, and Jerome Bettis gets that exclamation mark to his day. 25 carries, 120 yards. Here's the point after try, and it's 16-0 Steelers. A $1:45 left. Miami could still tie it with 2 touchdowns and 2 two-pointers. Here's Jin. Takes it from the goal line. He'll try to make something happen here, but he cannot. A 24-yard return. 1st and 10 Miami at the 23 with 1:37 left. They have 2 timeouts left. Woodson came up and made the sack. for the Steelers, and the Steelers dominant today. Miami held to 148 yards of total offense. Pittsburgh has 373. Now a 2nd and 16. Ball to 17. Marino. Let's see, it was Landry on the tackle. Can't tell the muddy uniforms. And Pittsburgh will not call a timeout. Miami calls their last. Pittsburgh still has one, using a couple of timeouts just to milk the play clock. 3rd and 11 at the 22. And that was in the general direction of Landry. Butler nearly made the pick. And it's 4th and 11. Last chance for the Dolphins. That's caught, but it's short of the first down. Landry makes the catch. Butler with the tackle to ice this one for the Steelers. And Roethlisberger will take 2 knees and will get the heck out of here. Yes way. And that's your ball game. Pittsburgh with the shutout over Miami. I don't think anybody was expecting that. In rainy conditions here at Heinz Field, 16-0. There you see the big day for Jerome Bettis, unofficial player of the game. 25 carries, 120 yards. Dan Marino, not a great effort out of him. 14 for 32 for 56.1 rating. It was all Pittsburgh on the scoreboard. Anderson field goals of 53, 26, and 18. Then Jerome Bettis with the icer in the last 2 minutes. And Pittsburgh goes to 2-2. Miami falls to 2-2. 16-0. We'll look at the standings. Miami has now slipped a half game as we stand right now behind St. Louis. They are in 3rd place. Pittsburgh will now be behind Cincinnati and Cleveland by a half game, tied with Baltimore, though Baltimore beat them last week to kind of own the tiebreaker right now. Pittsburgh 2-2. A lot of good teams in this lower North division. That'll be a very competitive division as we move forward. Tomorrow, for our next game, I'll just say, because I don't know when I'm going to get to it, and more on that as the days progress, we have Washington playing at Tampa, playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then Buffalo goes to play Cleveland, a battle of 2 of the best running backs of all time, O.J. Simpson and Jim Brown. Then New England travels to Carolina. New England off to a surprisingly slow start at 1-2 so far this year. So again, your final, Pittsburgh 16, Miami nothing. This has been Big Paulie coming to you. We wish you well wherever you are, whenever you see this. Bye-bye for now, everybody.